So, as per usual, we are now in the same situation again. Yes, there is now another coup underway inside of Venezuela right now. As you are probably aware, the elections for the presidency of Venezuela just took place, and Nicolas Maduro did win with 51.5% of the vote, which is a ridiculously slim margin and is definitely symptomatic of a problem existing in there now, that if he only has a bare minimum majority. Now, of course, the opposition has gone ahead and claimed that the election was stolen. But, they didn't actually provide any evidence of that. And the whole situation is frankly nothing short of hilarious. This is an actual headline put out by American media. Venezuela election, Maduro declared winner by government-controlled authority. That's how that works. That's how it's supposed to happen. Who is it that you think the election authority works for? Yeah, it is. And Justin Trudeau declared winner of Canadian federal election by federal election officials. Yeah, that's supposed to happen. Like, the actual logical disconnect in your mind to think that the election officials are automatically wrong because they work for the government is staggering. Where in that failure of a brain does this actually compute as something that makes sense? It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, of course, what has been touted in some circles has been that, well, the Venezuela, Hugo, yeah, I fucking wish he was still alive. That Nicolas Maduro didn't win because this exit poll says that he didn't, or says that he wouldn't, and the opposition is claiming they won 70% of the vote. Okay, now the Venezuelan opposition and U.S. media outlets, their claim of fraud is based on an exit poll from a U.S. government-linked firm, Edison Research. Edison works with the CIA, U.S. state propaganda, and was also active in Ukraine, Georgia, and Iraq. So there's this one media outlet that says that that ultimately the election was wrong. So the exit poll from one organization, which is known to work for the U.S. government, says Maduro lost. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's New Jersey based. It's literally in the U.S., connected to the U.S. government. Could you imagine what would happen if a foreign country said, okay, Joe Biden didn't win because we did an exit poll here in another country that says that he wouldn't win, so therefore he did not win? Could you imagine the outrage and the amount of scoffing that would come from Americans? And rightfully so, because that is ridiculous. But that's what actually was being put up as evidence that Maduro did not win and the vote was rigged. Some guy in another country who works for an enemy government says that he didn't win. And people will believe that because anti-Venezuelan people, they don't think. And yeah, they are anti-Venezuelan. It's not that they're anti-Maduro, they're anti-Venezuelan. They really are. Because if you literally do side with the U.S. government, which puts sanctions on the country, which blocks them from being able to buy food and medicine, yeah, you are anti-Venezuelan because you're intentionally supporting attack on the Venezuelan people. So you can't sit there, support the U.S. government at what is frankly an attempt at a genocide. It's not a genocide, but it's an attempt at one, and then say you support the Venezuelan people. Seriously, shut up. So the final vote was, 51.2% for Maduro, and Gonzalez received 44.2, and 8 other opposition candidates got 4.6 combined. This is completely different from what is being put, from what is actually being put out in the media. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you, of course, with absolutely zero evidence whatsoever, it is already being claimed by the U.S. government that this election was somehow stolen. It's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense. And of course, it's not supposed to. The U.S. Secretary of State, Blinken, immediately started claiming that the election was stolen, as usual, based on absolutely nothing.
If my colleagues will indulge me for just 1 minute, I want to speak quickly to the elections that just took place in Venezuela. We applaud the Venezuelan people for their participation in the July 28th presidential election. We commend their courage and commitment to democracy in the face of repression and in the face of adversity. We've seen the announcement just a short while ago by the Venezuelan Electoral Commission. We have serious concerns that the result announced does not reflect the will or the votes of the Venezuelan people. It's critical that every vote be counted fairly and transparently, that election officials immediately share information with the opposition and independent observers without delay, and that the electoral authorities publish the detailed tabulation of votes. The international community is watching this very closely and will respond accordingly.
Yeah. See, the thing is, all those things you said the Venezuelan electoral system needs to do, they actually did. Do you have any evidence that they didn't? No. You're just going by some exit poll run by essentially the U.S. government. Now, of course, what they are deliberately neglecting to mention is the fact that there are over 800 monitors, international election monitors in the country, and they're saying it was fine. There were no irregularities. That's going completely ignored. So I want you, the anti-Venezuelan people, to think about that. So you've got an exit poll run by what is literally the least credible source possible versus 800 electoral officials. And you believe the least credible source possible. That is because you are literally just like anti-socialist, which is really ironic because Maduro is not a socialist and Venezuela is not socialist. It's social democrat at best. And I would just ask you to define socialism, but you can't. You would just throw a fit and then just start screaming, oh, you work for the communists, blah, 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 blah. So naturally, a coup is underway in the country, which is being backed up by the United States. There's not a lot of details right now because this is just started. And, you know, there have been the police attacked, etc. There are Chavista crowds. They've started to gather outside the Miraflores presidential palace to stand firm against the violent efforts attempted to overthrow the government. So literally average everyday people are going out there and getting together to literally protect the government. The Caracas mayor, Carmen Melendez, she basically announced a permanent vigil to defend peace and stability during this difficult time.
Hemos resistido tantos años de todo lo que nos han hecho, pero aquí está el pueblo en la calle, el pueblo de Caracas, el pueblo que da ejemplo, junto a su Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana, un solo pueblo defendiendo nuestra patria. Nosotros tenemos en nuestros hombros garantizar la paz, la estabilidad política y tenemos todos los equipos, debemos estar activados. Hemos convocado a esta gran vigilia frente al Palacio de Miraflores porque tenemos que defender a nuestro presidente Nicolás Maduro Moro, el único presidente que ha estado al lado del pueblo en todos estos años. Así que de aquí no vamos a salir.
So, okay. And obviously, I don't speak Spanish. I'm told that's what she said, etc. This is okay. It's literally what's breaking my brain at this point is the people who are anti-Maduro running out into social media, like attacking him. Well, maybe the Venezuelan people should rise up against their dictator. And then proceed to take every problem that the embargoes and sanctions against the country are causing and directly putting it on Maduro as proof of his, quote, incompetence and corruption. Nothing in this world will ever speak to what an absolutely dishonest piece of garbage that you are, to deliberately ignore the US's attempt to destroy the country. This goes directly into that old joke. Yeah, socialism looks good on paper, but in real life, it ends up in a CIA-backed coup. The fact that you, an anti-Maduro person, does not even acknowledge the damage that sanctions and embargoes do to the country makes you wholly and completely dishonest, to the point where no one should ever talk to you or even listen to anything you have to say. Because you are so dishonest to a degree, like it's hurting my brain listening to this complete and absolute BS. It's I know it's just breaking my brain, because that is what anti-socialists have to do. They've not one shred of integrity. They've literally got no argument whatsoever that the only thing they can do is stack lie upon lie upon lie. They haven't got a single rational argument whatsoever. If they literally ignore all of the U.S. efforts over what, a century or more of destabilizing and overthrowing countries, and then just pretend that never happened. Like I literally had like these right-wing POSs claiming that the U.S. never tried to overthrow another country. But the immigrants are coming in to take away our jobs and destroy our way of life and force us into Sharia law and all other kind of nonsense. Because, you know, the Mexicans coming over are known for being Islamic, right? It's like literally at this point, we should literally just say, oh, you're anti-Maduro? Shut the fuck up forever. Like literally close your mouth and just cease to ever talk ever again. Because you have not got a single shred of anything. Like nothing, not any kind of intelligence at all. So this coup is underway in the country right now, and protests from right-wing groups getting funding from the U.S., which is not a secret and not a baseless claim, are coming out to try to paralyze cities and overturn the election results. Like a few hours before that, the Electoral Court officially declared Nicolas Maduro the winner, and they know it goddamn well was. And so they attacked the presidential palace, and then were beaten back by security forces, and then scream, oh my God, they're just beating us and attacking us. How oppressive this country is. Like, do you understand how utterly fucking stupid you are? You attacked the police and then complain when they defend themselves. Like, are you serious? Like I know you're gonna turn around and say, Black Lives Matter. They did this and they're, which, like, you know, literally has nothing to do with it. But you're going to bring it up anyway. Now, some of these groups actually reached the international airport, but haven't been able to force their way into it at all. And like going back to that whole thing about how incredibly dishonest right-wingers are, particularly the anti-Maduro ones. They're literally circulating videos from protests in 2017 and 2019 in order to exaggerate the size of the anti-Maduro protesters. You've got nothing. That literally shows that you've got nothing but dishonesty. Like I know I'm like completely repeating myself at this point, but it is so mind-numbingly bad. While the U.S. State Department and right-wing governments in the region have questioned the results, international observer reports, some of them have, yet to publish their findings, but so far, none of them show any significant irregularities reported on the day of the vote. At all. Like, nothing. Like the videos are so idiotic. Like, taking the videos from 2017 and 2019 and saying, oh, this is going on right now. When there are Venezuelans who go out, take a picture and say, yeah, because it's been raining in Caracas all day. How come it's not raining in your video? Like, is it that bad? Like, it's that stupid. It's like there's literally no brain function on this at all. It absolutely blows my mind. And this will go on. And the reason this will go on is anti-Maduro people in the US will literally believe anything without evidence. Like, they talk about destroying people with facts and logic, yet they can't even follow actual evidence. And I'm sure, I'm absolutely sure that Juan Guaido is sitting somewhere right now, like getting mad, tearing up papers that his name wasn't put in as someone who is supposed to be the president right now. It's ridiculous. And like, here's a headline. This headline just it actually hurt. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. Venezuela's struggle is Israel's struggle. Are you fucking serious? Well, Maduro's not in the middle of committing genocide. That's a bit of a difference. There's a multitude of other differences, but you see that they have to take one and connect it to the other. Oh, you support Israel, right? Well, then you support oh my God, like, yeah. There are certain things that I can't say because YouTube's terms of service, and that just sends it right over the edge. And here's Elon Musk. Major election fraud by Maduro. This is the same asshole who literally admitted that the U.S. couped Bolivia. So I do want to say this in the 1 in a billion chance Elon Musk actually hears this. Shut the fuck up. And there's a lot that I could really go on about this. And if Elon Musk is saying that the election was fake, that's basically an admission that it's absolutely true. So that's like, it doesn't matter. Venezuela goes ahead and has double the amount of actual elections that they're obligated to have, and then just says, and then these people just say, oh, it's stolen, and then never cite a single shred of evidence. Oh, it's stolen. Okay, so what's your evidence? Like, none. it simply blows my mind. U.S. imperialism is so goddamn desperate to try to do anything to destabilize the Venezuelan government because the Bolivarian revolution, and I am really using the word revolution loosely because there really wasn't actually a revolution. They kind of just voted this social democratic country into power, and then like this social democratic leader in power, and then just stays there and doesn't actually do socialism. They are so humiliated by the fact that they have not been able to stop what is Bolivarianism, Chavismo, whatever you want to call it. How many decades has it been now? I'm pretty sure it's been like more than 20 years. And they have still not managed to overthrow the country. They've come really, really, really close. But they haven't yet managed to actually do it. The amount of anger they must have at consistently having failed to overthrow that country must be driving them absolutely insane. Just the fact that they cannot get a hold of Venezuela's oil. They cannot force American companies into there to start scooping up another country's resources to use it to line their own pockets rather than any of that being used to help the Venezuelan people is ridiculous. And all of this being backed by the sheer audacity of completely ignorant malcontents on social media, just shooting their mouths off about how Nicolas Maduro is a dictator, yet they couldn't even pick him out of a lineup or even spell his name, and could not show you one shred of evidence. That's how it is. Like, for all those people, all those right-wingers shooting their mouths off, oh, I don't trust the government because the Biden is the Islamo woke conspiracy nonsense. And then we'll turn around and we'll absolutely believe anything anti-Venezuela without question, with like literally nothing. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's where everything actually is right now. And so far, it looks like these attacks by US-backed opposition haven't really been all that really significant. There's people going around on motorcycles attacking police officers, etc., and then attacking counter protesters, but they're not at the level that they have been in the past. That's not to say that they might not become bigger in the next couple days. But literally how Venezuela can have the patience to deal with this blows my mind. That every time they have an election, practically they try to burn the opposition tries to burn the country down. Like, at this point, like, I would be so completely over the top authoritarian that I would, let's not even finish that sentence because it ends with something like aiming missiles at the United States. Missiles that they don't have. I wish they did. It's unbelievable. It's completely ridiculous. And the worst part of all of this is no matter how much it doesn't make any sense, it's actually just going to keep continuing.